carrying the load here for us.
Thank you, Chairman Perry. Chairman Perry, have you ever been asked by the media about a police officer who was killed in the line of duty? Have they ever asked you about that shooting?
Mr. Faulkner was killed in Philadelphia by Mumia Abu-Jamal, and all they usually ask me about that is, what are we going to do to get that killer out of prison?
You know, I am never asked about the 100 police officers killed last year in the line of duty.
Right.
I'm never asked about the police officers who are shot in America's largest cities, as you mentioned. I'm never asked by the media about that. I'm never asked about the hundreds of shootings that take place every weekend in America's largest cities, these war zones, these crime zones that are under Democrat control. There's always a connection here. These are cities that have been controlled by Democrats. These are Democrat policies carried to their conclusion. What they're trying to do to the entire country that's been in place much longer in these major cities. You mentioned Baltimore, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, and on, New Orleans and so forth. And that's where most of the crime is in this country. That's where most of the shootings take place in this country, and they don't care about that. Do they want to harden our schools? Do they want to do what's necessary to keep our kids safe? I have long been an advocate in my home state in Virginia, the community where I serve as a county supervisor, in allowing armed personnel within the school system who are trained and want to carry concealed and be part of a rapid response team, teachers and staff, to be armed in the schools to keep the children and the staff safe. And the Democrats are against that. We all know the truth, and Mr. Norman from South Carolina mentioned this a moment ago. The best response to a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. The best response is more good people with guns, more law-abiding citizens with guns, as the founders wrote and intended, and as the founders recognized 250 years ago when we didn't have this violent crime in America's largest cities. If the Second Amendment is not safe, then no other right is safe. The Second Amendment, again, is that there's a reason why it comes right after that First Amendment guarantee to speech, free speech, to free assembly, to free worship, to free and to petition our government for our grievances, is that Second Amendment right to keep us safe, to ensure we remain a free people. You look around the world, you look at the nation of Ukraine. Ukraine would be a different place today if the citizens were armed and permitted to be armed the way we are here in this country. Taiwan would be a much safer country today from the threat of its large enemy on its border if their citizens were armed the way our citizens are armed today. And the founders recognized in their wisdom that not only did we possess a God-given right to defend ourselves, to keep ourselves and our families safe, but also that we would be unique among the nations of the world in enshrining that in a Constitution and protecting that right, and saying that Congress has no authority to infringe on that right for law-abiding citizens. And I yield back to the gentleman from Pennsylvania.
Well, my good friend from Virginia is